Hi, and welcome to your workshop, Hitting a Wall. Learn the 4 steps to help you figure out what else you could do with your law degree. My name is Elena Deutsch. I am so happy you're here. I founded WILL, which stands for Women Interested in Leaving Small, Medium, Big, Law, In-House, Government, Nonprofit. You're not working currently. Whatever your situation, help you figure out what else you could do with your law degree stay in the practice or leave, figure out what your heart truly desires and be on the path to going for it, having relief and clarity and certainty as you move forward. That's what I help women lawyers do, and I'm going to give you a little taste of it today. I'm going to give you as much as I can in the time we have. So let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you should have access to this workbook. And if you don't, no worries. Just grab a pen, just grab a piece of paper and write down the questions and press pause as we go through this so you can have as close to a live experience as possible. So for our agenda today, we are going to do this little greeting, and then I am going to take you into a couple of grounding somatic tools. So often the women lawyers I encounter who come to me are experiencing a tremendous amount of anxiety. And if you are, that is not a personal failing. It is your body's physiologic response to the perception of danger. And the danger for lawyers often comes in the form of a phone call from a partner or client, or fear of making a typo or mistake, right? So you come by your anxiety honestly and naturally. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools to calm that anxiety. Then I invite you to take inventory on where you are now and where you would love to go, to give yourself permission to really do that, to dive in, to look inside your heart for your own answers for those things. So you can see what's getting in your way and where you'd like to go. And that provides a great roadmap. Finally, I'll take you into the 4-step ease framework. I'll show you the same process I take my clients through so you can get a snapshot of that and learn some tools to guide you on your way. All right, we'll recap and take next steps. And to make this the best experience for you, again, press pause, make this interactive, grab your favorite pen, grab something to write with, and beverage, a snack, and ask yourself, am I willing to see things differently? Right? You're here to hopefully expand your possibilities, your perceptions. So ask yourself, am I willing to see things differently? Okay. So if that's a yes, let's dive right in. I'm going to start with this one somatic tool. So somatic body, because anxiety is a physiologic response. To calm anxiety, you actually have to get back into the body. So there's this tool where you cup your wrists. You can either do one at a time, open your palm and cup the soft underbelly of your wrist. And notice your anxiety level as we begin this. And then see it decrease. And I actually like to do kind of 2 at the same time. Go like this. And take a few deep breaths. And I feel my heart rate calming down, lowering a little. I feel my breathing and my voice dropping deeper into my body. Good. Take a couple of deep breaths, and this helps bring your brain, your prefrontal cortex, back online when you've been in a state of anxiety. Your IQ drops by as much as 50%. So this is really designed not just to calm your body, but to bring your brain back online. I could use a little help with that right now. And then the second tool is hands on heart. Just look around your space and know that you are safe. This literally tells your subconscious mind, okay, there's no lions or tigers, or bears trying to eat me now. So this is from Mel Robbins, hand on heart, and just tell yourself, I am okay. I am safe. I am loved. All right, so these are great tools to have in your back pocket, to go into a bathroom to use, to do under a desk. You can do this one, the wrist one, when you're on a Zoom call. Right. And so now I invite you to really take a look at where you are now. What is not working for you currently? Often I hear the billable hour, having to always be available, never getting to shut my brain off. being bored at work, not feeling like this work aligns with my values, not being appreciated at work. I just spoke with a woman who works for 4 male partners. She's the only woman in her group. And they never, she's like, once a year, they say I did a good job, right? So what's not working well for you? Take a moment, write it down. Also, pause and think about what motivated you to sign up for this. What is it you want to get from doing this workshop, right? Set your intention, because our energy follows our intention. So take a moment and write it down, pen to paper, set your intention. And then identify what your biggest barriers are. And typically those are internal and external. Internal, that noise in your head, what Liz Gilbert calls the inner terrorist in my head, the inner critic, your fear, your doubt, your worry. External could be, I don't feel like I have enough time. I'm already stretched so thin. What will I do about the money? Worry about finances, right? So write down those biggest barriers, because once you see them, you can see that they're surmountable, that everything's actually figure outable. But if it's just like always kicking around in your head, it gets bigger. Okay, so bring it down, put it on paper, pen to paper, and then move on. Press pause as you go through this so you can really do this. When you're ready, move on to this section of what would you love to see for yourself. Allow yourself to identify what you would love to see in 3 months from now, right? So if maybe it's getting more clarity for what I want, being able to be more present with my family, cooking meals again more instead of ordering seamless every night, getting to the gym more, saying no more at work. What are things you would love to see for yourself? Within 6 months, would you love to be out of your job? Would you like to be out there doing informational interviews? Would you like to make it through the end of the year so you can collect a bonus, but be in a better place with your mental and physical health? Make brunch plans with your friends and keep them. What are some of those things that you'd like? And then a year from now, what is your big picture ideal for a year from now? Look, no one can give this to you but you. So take a moment and take yourself seriously. And again, are you willing to see things differently? Allow yourself to think, yes, I can have a relationship if you want one and you're not in one right now. Or would you like to have a child, or would you like to be spending more time with your kids? Or would you like to, go travel with a friend? I just came back from walking the Camino in Portugal. What are some of your dreams and aspirations? Like to just take a weekend and be able to read a book without worry. I had one client when I did this exercise with her, she said, I love reading. I would love to be able to sit and read. I haven't read a book in 5 years. And now she goes to the library and gets out a stack and comes home and spends a weekend reading. So what is it you would love to see for yourself? Okay. And then take a look at this and then ask yourself, is this what I really want? And add in anything else that you want. Okay. So is this what you want? If so, I'm going to show you the 4 steps to figure out what else you can do. And I call this process EASE, EASE. And as we go through this, I'm going to head on over to my slide deck, and we are going to stop this share, and I'm going to walk you through what each of those elements stands for. Okay, here we go. Share. There we go. All right. Okay, good. Okay, so would you like to know the 4-step EASE system? So we'll fill this in as we go. And the first E stands for elements. Elements. What are those, like the periodic table? What are the building blocks that you would like? Your ideal criteria. And why this is important is because you're allowed to design your career to fit your life. It doesn't have to be the other way around, where you're turning yourself into a pretzel for your job and your work. Right. And so really take some time to think about the elements that are most important to you. And I love this analogy of building your dream home. And if I was to build my dream home, I would put a seltzer dispenser at the kitchen sink. One of my sons loves seltzer, and we have some cousins who have a seltzer dispenser literally at their kitchen sink. And I would definitely be including that. So what are some things that you want in terms of commute time, in terms of hybrid work, or work fully at home, or work fully in an office, salary, the kind of environment you want to work with, the kind of people, the kind of tasks that you're doing, right? This is stuff I guide people through. So take a moment, just really think about what it is you would like. Now, most people don't do this because they don't know how. It's not the conventional wisdom. They don't have structure to guide them. And maybe you've never done this before, right? It's kind of like, it's not like just write your job experiences on a resume and see what you can get. It's coming at this from within. Maybe you don't believe it's possible and you should just be grateful that you have a job. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be grateful, but they're not mutually exclusive. So I want to give you a couple of examples from some Will members. So Erin lived in Austin, Texas, still does. She loves health, fitness, nutrition. She was always going for a run in the morning with her running club. She loves science. She loves learning. She wanted to stay in Austin. She was okay earning less money. She was a single woman. She said, I can live on way less than I make now. Jane has a young family in Los Angeles. She really wanted to be doing social good in a mission-driven, flatter organization. She was at a big law firm. She just had a very terrible experience there, and she was done with that and wanted to be in a feminist and flatter organization and be able to walk her daughter to school. So working from home was paramount for her. Okay, so those are some examples of some elements from some other people. So take a moment and write down what are some of your elements and clarify your building blocks. Okay, the second step is appealing new possibilities. So you use your elements, your skills, your interests, your values, the specifics of what you want to generate a list of new appealing possibilities. And it's so important here to do green light thinking. And this is a brainstorm where all ideas go down on paper and you start to see themes and patterns emerge. And it's important to sanctify a space and a time to do this with someone who has no agenda for you, right? They're a neutral party. They only are there to hold space and help you identify what's best for you and help you come up with some more ideas. And the intention of this is that you come out with a list of concrete possibilities that include companies, industries, job titles and roles. I've got a woman I work with, she's like, I want to be a chief people officer one day. She loved kind of setting a culture in a company. And she did that work for a while. And now she's actually back to doing general counsel work, but she's still in the leadership role and she's getting to set the culture in a company. And that's super important to her. Right? Business ideas. Many of the women I work with end up starting businesses. You have some little whispers of ideas. And also write down your interests and your hobbies, things you might want to take a class in one day, because interests can turn into income. So Jenny McKee, who's someone I worked with for a while, she did this exercise and astrology rose to the surface as something she'd always loved since she was 16. We talk about it in a podcast episode, how she went from discovering that nugget to taking astrology classes to ultimately leaving her full-time role, going half-time. Now she's doing her astrology business almost full-time and doing a tiny bit of lawyering for her old firm. Right? So it's possible for your interest to turn into income also. And the benefits of that, you find what's aligned and right and true for you, not just what you could or should do, things that you feel eager and excited to explore. And it doesn't mean that you do everything on your list. And I show people how to prioritize their lists. But most people don't do this because it's scary and it can be overwhelming to create a whole list of options that you don't think you can actually achieve. And your brain wants to keep you safe. And it can be hard to do this, like with society telling you should just stay in your safe job, right? Without the structure and support and a system to guide you. When Ruth did this in Washington, D.C., she thought, wait, there are other jobs out there I might be good at besides being a lawyer. And I don't have to just run from something. I could run to something. So she was excited to explore those opportunities. And she wanted to do something more entrepreneurial. And she ended up getting an LLM in trust and estate. And she opened her own firm, helping young families with trust and estate. So that's step 2, generating appealing new possibilities. Step 3 is the study and research. And this is really not just having online research, which I know you're excellent at. And yes, you can use Google and ChatGPT and all the things, but it's really about having offline conversations. And this is of critical importance because of many strategic reasons, one of which is to do your due diligence and make sure it's the right fit. And when you're doing this also, it teaches your brain that you're safe. You see other people are safe. Your brain is going to want to keep you stuck because same, stuck, Same equals safety, and that's where your brain wants to keep you. Right? But when you get out there in the world and maybe you're shadowing someone for a day, or you're meeting them for coffee at their office, or you're on a Zoom with them and you talk to them about the vibe and the environment, you can start to see yourself in it. It's like when I took my kids on college tours, the magic phrase is, I could see myself here. That's what you want for yourself too, right? Like, yeah, this would feel good to be here. And when you have these conversations, doors start to open and opportunities come your way. Now, most people don't do this because they've never done it before. Maybe you've gone K to JD. You don't know how. You did on-campus interviewing, right? Maybe you're afraid of bothering someone or don't think you know anyone in your network other than lawyers. So I teach how to do this more deeply in my program, but you can do it just as well. And Leah Frankel, and I've linked to all these podcast episodes in the playbook also. So Leah went through a process of discovery. She did so many informational interviews, took a lot of twists and turns, and she learned both what wasn't right for her and what was. And I'll let you listen to that episode to hear her story. So that's step 3, study and research. Step 4 is engaging in mindset and action. And this is absolutely one of the most important steps. And you do it actually all along the path. And this is of vital importance because your inner critic will try and stop you before you start and keep you stuck in beliefs. Like I said, keep you safe in beliefs like this won't work, you can't, this is all you'll ever be able to do. And often women tell me they feel stuck on a hamster wheel. So what are some of the automatic negative thoughts that you have? And it's through no fault of your own. We all have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and most of which are negative. But once you become aware of that, it becomes an opportunity to take responsibility for doing this mindset work in an intentional way. And this is not one and done. I hate to tell you, but it's a lifetime practice if you choose to take it up. It really has the power to change your life. And I call it TFAR, right? And TFAR stands for thoughts. Often we have automatic thoughts like, I'll never be able to do anything else, which can leave you feeling defeated, powerless, hopeless. And then what actions you take when you feel those things? Usually none. And your results are none. And you stay the same. And you just reinforce that loop. So one of the ways I teach this, and I teach a bunch of different ways, is to create a new thought, right? Wait a minute. I'm smart. I'm capable. I'm hardworking. I can figure this out. And the new feeling is energized and confident and more hopeful. Maybe you read the book, listen to the podcast, sign up for the course, or hire a coach. And the new result is that you experience relief and you make a plan to take actions that open doors. And this quote from Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor and a psychiatrist, is from his book, Man in Search of Meaning, really says this so poignantly. Between a stimulus, the situation or circumstance, and response, our response, there is a space. And that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. So to recap the 4-step E-system elements: appealing possibilities, study and research, and engaging in mindset work that leads you to taking new action, right? Okay. So now this system is not just theory. It's been tested and successful and proven with over 100 women lawyers, one of whom is Ghazal, who came into Will from a big law firm. And as she said, I knew I had been unhappy in corporate law for too long. That tolerance was gone. The pay, the accolades, the prestige were just not worth it anymore. I wanted to own my time on my terms and earn money doing something that I enjoyed or was not soul crushing. At least not soul crushing. So Ghazal, through this process, she ended up discovering she wanted to become a coach, and she did an informational interview with me and then went on to get her coach training. And 2 years later, I hired her as a Will coach. And she said, if anyone had told me 2 years later I would return to Will, not as a client, but a coach, I would have thought they were crazy. We don't have to know exactly where we're going, but we have to take the small steps towards finding out. If we listen to the whisperings in our heart and ignore our naysaying minds, that inner critic work, just enough to take one small step after another, we will essentially build our own staircase to a more fulfilling life as we go. So Ghazal she's working with me. She's amazing. It's great to have her on my team. So if you take one thing away from this, I hope that you are taking away that you too can figure out what else you can do and make a plan and experience more relief. And can you do this by yourself? Of course you can. I've just laid out the steps. It's often not an information deficit, but often an implementation challenge. Finding the time, the energy, having the structure and support to do this is where people often need help. And you have a choice. You can absolutely keep going on your own, try and do this on your own. You have all the info here. Or you have another choice. It might not feel like you have choices, but you do. If you want to fast track your results, if you want support and a proven system, I would be happy to be your career interior designer, interior and exterior designer, and help you along your way. In the playbook, there's some information how to book a one-on-one consultation with me. If you want more help, if you want to do this faster, if you want to sleep through the night, be more present with the people who matter most, take those unplugged vacations and weekends without your laptop or worry. You could be like Meredith, who's another podcast story. She's not just a story. She's a wonderful human being who generously shares her story in another Will podcast episode where she went through, a big physical and mental breakdown. She set new boundaries. She had breakthroughs. She had ups and downs. And again, have a listen. And one of the things she says, I'll skip to her big takeaways, is that she's now saying no to the things that are not right for me. My overarching goals have enriching experiences. My job is not my biggest priority. It's something I do. It's not who I am. I feel brave, so much better than I thought I would. I'm more confident and in a better, happier, and more meaningful place. So if all of these things sound good to you, I'm going to stop the share. Let's close that down. Come on back here. All right, I think this is working now. And I'll head on back actually to the workbook and we'll wrap up there. Here we go. All right, that you have options. Okay, here we are. All right. Okay. I put in your workbook a couple of extra sheets for you to do some of this mindset work. I went through it pretty quickly. So there's some examples here, and I highly, highly encourage you to do this and give this a try. So to recap, we covered the somatic tools to help calm your nervous system. You identified where you are now, where you'd love to go. I showed you the 4-step ease framework to help you figure out what else you could do and get on your path to it, including the mindset tool TFAR. Right. So you have a choice. Do you want more guidance and support and structure? Do you want to do this on your own? You 100% can. And 100% I would be happy to speak with you and help you explore if having more guidance, structure, support, and a community of other amazing women lawyers who are also figuring this out, who are there to cheer you on and you're there to cheer them on. It's a beautiful thing. It's where the magic happens. I would be happy to speak with you, learn more about your unique situation, and see if Will might be able to help you. So in conclusion, I invite you to write down one insight you got from today, one action that you intend to take. Maybe your action is to book that call or have a listen to some of these podcast episodes. All right. Thank you so much for this. Let's see if I can stop the share and come on back. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be part of this with you. And I hope that this helps you so much on your journey to figuring out what else you could do with your law degree and all of you, not just your degree, but all of you. So you have a more happy and fulfilling career and life. Thanks so much.